black and bright with thoughts of you. Do you remember me? 'Cause I remember you. Silver like a chain around your name, silver like a chain around your name, a painting. The closets in your eyes, they expose the bones. This day is all yours. You, then you will remember me. Never screaming and you're bleeding while you're shining and you're beaming. Can't get this noise out of my head now. This bulletproof heart ain't so bulletproof, and it pierces through. She's twisted too. This knife is your tattoo. I wanna forget now. I wanna forget now. It's the way you look, the way you turn, the way you smile at me. If I don't remember you, then you won't remember me. If I don't remember you, then you will remember me. I wanna forget now. I wanna forget now. It's the way you looked, the way you turned, the way you smiled at me. If I don't remember you, then you won't remember me.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Musicians Insider. I'm your host, Cronus, and today we're going to have, for the very first episode, our inaugural episode, we're going to have Robert Scobelizer, who's really been one of the firsts in a lot of places. He was the first in a Tesla, the first guy to use Google Glass in the shower and make no one else want to use it. A lot of firsts. So without further ado, we'll bring him on shortly here. I'd like to introduce Robert Scoble.
Yeah.
This is my first one. You're the first one.
Wow. That's awesome.
So, hey, everyone.
Somebody had to be first.
So, hey, everyone. Welcome to my first inaugural podcast for the Musicians Insider. I'm Cronus, and our first guest is none other than Robert Scobelizer. He is always first. So I thought it'd be interesting to say some of the things you've been first at. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, because I haven't really
working as a journalist or futurist in the tech industry for a long time, building online communities and stuff like that. I was the first one to see the first Tesla. I was the first one to see Flipboard. I was the 79th user of Instagram. Siri was launched in my son's bedroom. So then that's just some of the weird shit that's happened in my life.
I noticed you left out the Google Glass.
Oh yeah, I wore that for a year. That was always fun. That'll come back someday.
I really enjoy just when I speak to you and talk to you about things, just because you are a futurist, and I don't know many people who are, and like, you're the one guy kind of like, when I go to you, you're on the cutting edge all the time, making sure stuff is going to be great for your life. So my entire podcast is dedicated to music. It's the Musicians Insider. I can't even say it, the Musicians Insider. But a lot of things you do are music related. I think, even without even realizing it, but I think, as you know, you've got the best music headphones on your head right now, right?
Yeah.
See what I'm wearing?
Overpriced Apple headphones. No, they're actually really good. Yeah, that's cool.
These are in-ear monitors from 64 Audio. They're one of my sponsors, actually. So for my music project. Awesome. So I get these in-ears that are just beautiful, and they have 12 drivers in them, so I can hear everything very clearly. And it's just, I can't believe the way technology's gone. One of the things that I've found is, in my life, the technology has now got to where I can actually do all the music stuff I've been sort of afraid to do. I think one of my problems was being a perfectionist. I always wanted it to be right. So then by the time I got it right, it's like I'm 45. So
that's the way it is. I'm 55. I still haven't got it right.
We first met at the Twitter 140 conference, actually, I think. Have you seen what Jeff Pulver's been up to lately? Do you know Jeff?
I haven't. I do know him.
He's got some cool stuff in New York right now. He's got Pulver EDU. I would check it out, you know, and I was going to teach a course for them, and then I got a job and had to stop and bail on them. But I'm up in Canada now. So I ran into you again at South by Southwest after I won Jeremy Shoemaker's contest. It was like 69 reasons to send me to South by Southwest on Jeremy and Isaiah's dime. The Isaiah guys, I remember when I met you first, they were kind of weird. like they
Yeah.
had their opinions, and I don't know, like it was interesting to like hear one of them talk shit about you, and then I was like, wait a minute, and I met you, I was like, no, this guy's cool, and I was like, I'd rather be your friend than his. And so I was like,
well, thank you.
but at the time I was just like, whatever, you know, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt to you. So
I might have barfed on his shoes. So
I think that's funny.
Yeah.
I think that's funny. Isaiah, I don't know that really if they've ever gotten to anywhere bigger than they did.
No.
So music,
They're doing
music's
all right,
always music's always in a way part of something that we're doing. On Jeff Pulver's last little show, they had the music director of SNL on it on a Zoom. So they've
Wow.
always got some cool people in there to listen to, and I'm just networking as much as I can. With you, I know we were talking a lot about just awesome video game stuff. I've been really, I appreciate your invite to come and try out some of the immersive VR stuff. I haven't been in
Yeah.
the area in a long time, and now that Burning Man's been canceled 2 years in a row, I'm not even anywhere near you. But I've been playing Hearthstone, and I have 999 wins. I'm about to have 1,000 wins. I'm going to go live on my stream tonight, and I'll have it's like have you ever played Magic the Gathering? It's like that.
No. Okay.
It's a very direct damage type game with cards, but you know how you play Monopoly? It's like someone has to be the banker, and it's annoying. With
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering cards we used to play in college, it was annoying to do the math with a pencil. And now if you have an iPad with Monopoly on it, it's all the math is done. So it's like that. It's kind of nice.
I have a Monopoly game that you talk to the banker is electronic. So
See, again, you've got the next level of it. I love that. And why hasn't that come out sooner? Imagine you sit there, you have like the game Trouble or whatever. You press a
it's
button.
because the computer has to be really cheap in a board game. So they had to wait for the price of that thing to come way down.
You think it might be like a like a Bluetooth board game that connects to your phone now, right? That just changes games every time. I bet you that's coming out soon.
There's a company called Tilt 5 that's coming out with a board for your coffee table or your kitchen table, and you put on some glasses, and then you get as many games as they're going to deliver.
So there it comes.
So, yeah.
I was listening to some of your Twitter chats lately, just a little bit. I heard you guys yesterday, and a couple weeks ago I was on, and I noticed there's some cool stuff. One of the guys had a VR link to all the like virtual VR worlds you could go to. I thought that was really cool. I love that you have people on all the time. Robert's always got some interesting people on talking about the latest technologies, and there's always someone who's worked somewhere crazy. And then I heard you
last
talking
night
about
we had a natural language processing guy, an AI expert who's been doing it for 20 years. Yeah.
the next word I have is AI on my screen here. I wanted to ask you, how afraid of it are you? And you know it's inevitable, yet the way it has to go, the real test, I think, will be.
I'm not afraid of it. I have the Facebook portal behind me, and I have a Tesla in the garage, and I have a June oven with a camera that you put bread into the oven, and it goes, oh, there's toast in the oven. I'll toast it. Yeah.
You're the real first privacy is gone advocate. And I totally get that. You need the removal of privacy to do specific tasks, like have a droid talk to you without giving it approval first, right? It's got to be allowed to. So, but the real test I was going to say was, can AI write a joke that makes us laugh? You know, I think when they can start doing things like that, we're going to start to get into the real business of where we are with what AI can do. I think an important thing that people don't talk about, and I find is very interesting, if you've seen The Mandalorian, how IG-11 it's a robot. Basically, if you watch that, they trained the robot from beginning. They reprogrammed it. And my point is, a robot or any type of AI, it must rapidly, eventually, but it must be learning and development similar to a human. You know, like our brain doesn't start like this when we're born. You know, a 30-year-old human is much more developed than a baby. So, you know, the hand of the robot, the first thing it has to do is it goes, okay, this is my hand. It has to get excited. Then it has to go, this is an object. And then when it grabs the object, it gets excited. So that whole neural network learning stuff is what they have to do to make it work. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's it. That's the key. I thought I'd ask you your thought on that.
Step by step. Autonomous cars work like that, right? My car sees stop signs and stoplights and lane markings and other things around pedestrians, bicyclists. And it's all doing that through AI. And if you look at where the world is going, it's going there pretty quickly in terms of human history, right?
What do you think's coming next?
Yeah. Oh, geez. That's a big question. Apple. We're all waiting for Apple to come out with its new Apple, the new 3D Apple. And they're doing a lot of things in the home to own it. So when it comes, it's going to be big, but probably next year.
I know since I've met you, you've been waiting for the clear iPhone to come out. That never happened. Like these things that were coming and coming. So if you're saying next year, I'm going to guess it's 2 years away.
No, the leaks and the patents are raining out of the sky. So it's coming soon. Yeah.
So about VR and holograms, I find that VR makes users feel kind of sick, right? Like I've had a few times where I tried it. I'm like, kind of get whatever. Obviously,
my wife does too.
The mixed reality is much better. I was reading an article about something here. It was on, I forget what it was, but a person named Liang Shi believes that the new approach, which the team that they're on calls tensor holography, will finally bring that elusive 10-year goal within reach to have holograms like VR and 3D printing worlds like together. Like, I don't understand that. Have you heard of that? Tensor holography?
No, I haven't, but there's a whole bunch of work being done on displays to bring different kinds of holograms, either to glasses or windshields in cars, right?
Will we have the Princess Leia hologram? Will we have the R2D2 projecting?
As long as you put on glasses, yes. There's screens that can do some of that, but only in localized places. The screen, once you put on glasses, it's over. So, in the next few years, you're going to see some really crazy new technologies come along.
I'm excited. I heard you guys talking a little bit about music AI for $20 a month. And then you were talking about, somehow there was a Canadian joke where they said something about you put the A in decay. And I was like, okay, enough of that. But I did want to ask you about that. What do you think about the future of music? And, aside from nepotism and things like that, where is it going,
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it. One, start out with this new over-the-ear headphone, Apple headphone. Right. And this has 2 AI computers in it. That's what makes this different than all the other headphones in the market. The noise canceling is the best on the market right now because of that. It has 9 little microphones around it. And it has a new thing called spatial audio. So I can hear music or sound coming from all around me. It's a infinite surround sound system, basically. And then you start thinking about what happens if they put an augmented reality computer onto this thing, where it can see the world. Well, now you can put music on your living room floor and walk around it like you were walking on stage at the Beatles, and walking in between the band members as they're playing. Really? That's going to radically change music. And then we're going to get all the visuals, right? So we're going to be able to be in a rave in your living room, or a Coachella music festival in your living room, right?
So,
and that's coming next year as well.
I would love to hear. I'd love to hear your thought on what an artist can do to get ahead of the curve, because most artists don't even have like a website.
Yeah, this is ahead of the curve. If you're not playing with VR and understanding what metaverses are, you probably are already way behind. You need to catch up. If you don't have a VR headset like an Oculus Quest, it's $300. Get one.
Which one should people get?
Oculus Quest 2.0. It's
Quest 2.
$300. It's $300. It's down there.
And it works on its own now, right? It's self-contained.
Yeah, it's a standalone. You don't need any computer. You just need to buy an Oculus Quest for $300. The reason I want you to do that is it starts showing you what presence and what immersion means, and you start learning how other developers are building virtual worlds for you to enjoy. You are going to start getting a language around this. You're going to start understanding what people mean when they talk about immersion and presence, right? So that you can have some real conversations with your tech teams about the future of your brand and the future of where you're going to go with this stuff, right? Because if you're Marshmello, for instance, he played at Coachella. I saw him 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. And in Coachella, in the Sahara tent, only 10 to 20,000 people can fit in that one venue. Well, he played on Fortnite, and he gets 11 million people watching. So if that didn't get your attention,
That was insane.
as a musician, then you're not going to get anything, because you're not really in the audience business, right? And music is about building audiences, right?
Yeah, and like even with crypto coins currency, you can make a coin for your band that's like only people can buy stuff from that, and it kind of makes sense to do that as an artist. It doesn't make sense to do it as a company unless you're like Nintendo and you're selling these coins, or someone like who does that. They haven't even done it yet. But
Don't go there, because in 10 years everything's going to work like NFTs. So, I mean, a lot of things are going to be on my walls. Virtual things are going to be on my walls all over my house, right?
Are you?
Hopefully, I can afford some nice ones, you know. But
do you care about
they'll be
unique?
cheap.
Do you care about unique NFTs?
If you want to own an Ansel Adams photo, it costs money. It's
do you
unique.
care about it being unique?
I don't care, but other people do. I pay attention to what other people care about, and other people care about having things in their homes that they care about, right? That's unique. If
So
you're
will
a rich
people
guy, you have a Picasso on the wall, right?
Well, can people just make a fake NFT and pretend it's the real one? Like, will people do that then?
They can, but I come along with my glasses and go, no, that's not a real NFT. I already looked up the NFT and it's not a real NFT. You're trying to fake me out, man. So stop lying that you own a Picasso on the wall.
So right now, NFTs is
Or
it's a really big moneymaker for anyone.
You should start watching an artist called Tutu.
Okay.
He works for Dylan Francis. He's been doing all sorts of art for Dylan Francis, and he's building all sorts of metaverse-based art for the music industry, and he's doing badass shit. So
very cool.
He's working with a company called The Wave, which is doing this kind of virtual thing. Right now, it's still on flat screens, but someday that was started as a VR company, switched to 2D screens because that's where everybody is today. And they'll switch back when the glasses come out next year, the headsets from Apple and Facebook.
There's a pretty cool dome in LA called the Wisdome or something, and they do like virtual, like bands are performing, but there's like mapping going on all around them, and it's really, really neat. If you have a chance to check it out, I think Pink Floyd was doing something with them, and there's a lot of other musicians in LA involved.
Domes are cool, but soon you're going to have that in your living room. Why would you want to go to a dome? Get rid of this idea you're going to go and do things. Yes, we're all going to do things, but we're going to have that dome in our living room soon.
Well, this was for the band is performing though, and you can go see them. Like you're there.
I get that, but that only 10,000 people can do that. I'm talking about millions of people, man. Let's get into the new world.
This was less. This is less than thousands. This is like hundreds.
I know, because it's hard to get a ticket to a dome, a physical dome. You're going to have a virtual dome on the Apple headset coming next year. So why would you think like a physical thing now? You got to start thinking, I'm going to have a new audience showing up next year, you know, with headsets, with Oculus Quest and stuff like that. We're going to be able to reach a new audience in a new way.
Where do I want to be performing? At home to the world, or do I need where do you see that?
Do you want to get in another airport? I mean,
that's a good question.
Musicians are still going to have to travel, okay? Because humans still like to see music, and analog music, real world music, is still better than digital music. But most people can't experience this stuff, right?
After last year, I just want to play in front of real people.
I know. But the trick is now start capturing that with a bunch of 3D sensors so that you can put that up into virtual reality or augmented reality, and you can make your audience that's maybe a few thousand people in front of you. Now it's 1 million people.
So when you have a show, you map it all out virtually so people can walk through the stage while it's playing with cameras and sensors.
Eventually. Today, it's really hard to do that. It costs millions of dollars to do that. But soon, i.e. next year, there's going to be stadiums that have 100 cameras in them that does volumetric, right? And there's going to be a lot of companies and a lot of pressure on the music industry to do this, because I'm going to be watching music in my living room. I'm not coming to Coachella no more. So if you want to get me as a consumer, you got to think about this new world that's coming.
Love it. And this is great.
We're in metaverses and virtual reality. You know, that's where the new market is. That's how you get the people to come and see you.
Right? Did you see the virtual Burning Man? Did you see
Oh,
it?
I did. I not just saw it. I partied there, and
Good.
some of the people who were putting it on gave me a tour. It was awesome.
Yeah, I have a lot of
Yeah.
friends who did a lot of really amazing stuff that I've been watching what they're doing for next year, and they're actually using some of that technology just to show what their new art cars and plans are looking like.
Yeah.
I kind of took a year off of that just because I was like, I'm like out of it this year, but removing back to Canada. But man, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up with the technology. Like I've been using Ableton Live with a pretty elaborate setup that I can now stream from using Zoom, that we've all these plugins attached to it. I hired one of the best guys to help me build it. And it's just, you know, I would never have dreamed that I could be where I am, where I can actually do it all from a laptop. Playing guitar. I have a drummer, a live drummer, but everything else is on Ableton, and it works. It sounds like the record.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Technology is really changing music, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of why I like talking, to keep the pulse on things with you a little bit, because you're not there as a musician. You're as a consumer, as a creator, as a father,
I'm in the front row cheering, man.
but you're very vocal about how it should happen. And it's good to hear someone who has the experience of watching other product launches fail and just watching technology emerge over the last 20 years. Like I have an Atari 400 over there. Why? Because I want one there. Does anyone understand that? No. But it's been neat.
Reminds
watching.
you of your childhood, right?
And that's what's up with like Star Wars and stuff. Like no one cares about stuff that didn't happen to them when they were young, but we do. So it's super interesting.
My kids are on Discord with his friends back there.
Yep.
And Minecraft and Roblox and Gmod, all these different kinds of games that you can play with your friends, you know.
I actually just got a PS4 and started playing Grand Theft Auto with my homies I haven't seen in years, and it's been super fun. And you can do things together. It's just a collaborativeness. It doesn't even matter what you're playing.
Yeah.
It's just nice to. But when people are on like, oh, I have Microsoft or I have this, you can't hang out with them because they're not on the same thing. It's kind of frustrating.
That is very frustrating. And that'll be actually an interesting question. Will the Apple ones talk with the Facebook ones, with the Snap ones, with the the Google ones? Right?
But none of the ones you're mentioning include the PlayStation Network or the anything Nintendo related or anything, none of the consoles. And where is that market? Like, where are the Microsoft Xbox people and the PS4 people going to be?
Dying until they come out with glasses. I mean, Sony has a VR headset coming out next year, right? It's still corded. It's still not. It's not going to be what Apple's coming. Apple's about to come out with something that's really mind blowing, and so, the consoles are the past. Yeah, this is the new world of having kids on Zoom calls. It's sort of fun.
I think it's cool. Everybody's fam.
But I can chase them around too. See, this is what I have, a DJI gimbal. I'll show it to you in the mirror.
I know what that is.
So you can,
I used to have one of those. Yeah, you hold it. Yeah,
and you can move it around, and the camera stays pretty steady there. So
I used to use that with the Swagtron folks when I worked at Swagtron. Use a hoverboard company, electric skateboards, electric hoverboards, and things like that. And I would use the gimbal.
Yeah, and so I get to. What do you want, Elon? Whatever.
That's fun.
He's gonna steal strawberry.
Ever since I got the iPhone XR, the Steadicam on, even the iPhone 7 with the stabilization, it's been so much better video.
This is a 12 Pro Max on here, and it's way better than any of those. But you still need, if you want to have this kind of smoothness of a Steadicam, you have to have a gimbal. You know?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I have used it.
Steady.
I have used one.
Really
My buddy
cool.
has one. They're
it's
great.
Really cool because I could take you around and take you out to the Tesla and stuff like that. So
you should take me out to the Tesla. I've never seen it. Which one are you driving?
The Model 3.
How do you, and is that your favorite one, or do you have a favorite, or you have a plan?
If I was a billionaire, I'd have Model X or something. But I'm not that rich.
I took a ride in a Model X. It was at Uber in Toronto, and I asked the guy, I go, "What are you doing with this?" And he's like, "I just use it to drive people across the town, and it pays my car payments."
I'll go in the Tesla here.
This is awesome. This is what I see. This is why I love you.
The nice thing about doing podcasting in the Tesla is it's a soundproof booth. I can get in here and yell, right?
Wow. So it's like It's basically an audio isolation booth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So tell me about this
I
car.
just switched you back. The thing about Tesla, well, first of all, it's electric, right? And then everybody's like, we're all coming out with electric truck or car. You know, Ford says, oh, we're coming next year, and VW says we're coming with 30 cars in the next 3 years, 4 years. So there's a bunch of batteries underneath me, right? And it's great from that aspect. It's fast, right? You've seen the videos. What I'm really keyed on is the experience of owning a product, and the AI in this car and the software is way ahead of like our Toyota or our friends' other cars. And the self-driving is going to run away with the game. They have more data than anybody else does to go from not working very well to it's fully like, it's mind-blowing. Right.
And when they license it to VW, then VW gets all that data too? How does that work?
No, they're not going to license. They're not going to license what's in the Tesla to a VW. That just ain't going to work.
Well, who's VW licensing it from? Aren't they getting like the?
VW is building their own. VW is building their own autonomous. There's many companies building their own autonomous technology, but they don't have a million cars on the road with cameras that can change lanes and turn corners.
Like you were saying, every time a Tesla drives by you, it's more data.
Yeah, it's refreshing the street as it goes by. So if it sees, a car wreck, it can report that to the map and say, hey, there's police action here, there's a street closed, there's a lane closed or something like that, right?
Which is helpful to everyone.
Yeah, I'm expecting in 24 months Apple and Google Maps are going to be very threatened by Tesla because Tesla has the data they don't have real-time data on the street, and Tesla does. Now Tesla's not very many places yet, right? They only have 1 million cars on the street. In my neighborhood, Tesla's everywhere, right? There's 5 of them on my street, right? So, right, and I only have a small street here, so there's Teslas everywhere in Silicon Valley. But if you're in, East Africa or Mumbai or something like that, you don't see Teslas at all. You've never even seen a Tesla yet.
We have a few in Northern Ontario. There's a lot in the bigger cities, but where I am, I've seen a couple around here, but there are some. Yeah. So they're able to map it here too,
Yeah. No, it's there's 19 AI systems in this car, and it fully self-drives, at some level. You can say you're supposed to keep your hand on the wheel. You can say it doesn't do that intersection, and it does that one. But it's starting to get really amazing. And Elon says in the next few days, we're getting an update that's going to be mind-blowing, he said. So we'll see. This is already mind-blowing. So, it's like, wow, if something mind-blowing on top of mind-blowing comes, then, we'll see where we are in a week or something.
I missed you had a little chat about Elon the other day before his broadcast on Saturday Night Live, but I did see SNL. I thought it was hilarious, and I thought it was pretty cool of him to tell the world he has Asperger's. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that either.
And
that was really interesting. And although it totally makes sense, most of the tech industry leaders have some Asperger's in them, because that's why they're good at technology, right?
I know, it makes you just want to figure it out. They have a brain.
Well, they have a brain that they don't care about people. They care about, sitting in front of a screen and figuring out a lot of detail, right? And being able to store all that detail in their head. My son's autistic, so I watch, like, he could tell you about 1960s Godzilla movies in detail. I can't do that. I don't care.
I think it's just
kind of mind.
It's almost like the spectrum opens up other parts of the brain that allow more to happen. And it's just like, if we were to understand it, you might not look at it as an ailment. It might be a part of the Darwin in a weird way,
Yeah, it's a spectrum, right? My son's in the middle of the spectrum, so he didn't get hit with a lot of the genius side of this stuff, right? You see Rain Man and you start seeing people who can memorize very weird things. That's the Asperger's side, right? And then the other side is really a disabled person, can't speak, can't work, can't do very much things for themselves, right? And that's one side of the spectrum. The side of the spectrum that Mark Zuckerberg and Elon are on, it gives you some challenges with social, right? You're not an autistic person can't look in your eyes very easily. It confuses their brain, and they don't like doing that. They don't like having small talk, right? They like going straight to telling you about Godzilla, right?
Well, because small talk feels inefficient.
It does to that kind of brain. They'd rather look at their iPad, right, or do something else, right? These kids are very interesting to be around because they communicate very differently. They look at the world very differently, and their focus level is usually very different than ours. So they can sit and focus on something for a long time. So
I think you're probably.
That's how you learn how to code, right? I can't learn to code because I can't focus on that black screen for 2,000 hours, trying to figure it out.
How I learned to code a little bit, which I'm not a coder now, but I took computer science and I had to learn. I had a book when we were younger in public school. We would get books from the book club, and I got a computer programming book that had Atari 400 games in it, and I would type them all in 10,000 lines and use a tape deck cassette to save it and literally play the game. And if it didn't work, I'd be so mad, but then I'd just type it again and it would work. And then I would go in and figure out how to make it so I couldn't die. And that was the beginning of it. Yeah, that was really neat. Wow.
I worked at a programming magazine and learned a little bit, but I never took it up. It requires looking at the world a little differently than I do. And I'm not good with languages. My brain doesn't pick up languages very well.
I want to talk a little bit about security, because last night I was listening to you guys on the room, and I thought it was very interesting that I'm a computer science person. I know a lot about things, but I feel like even with what I have, I'm still like, okay, so now what do I got to do to secure everything? And I wanted to talk a little bit about the hardware key, the MDA token for the Google
Before that,
Gmail.
my suggestion is everybody needs to start putting an hour a month on their calendar where they're going to just do research on security. That's all I want you to do. Go to Google, type how to make yourself more secure, right?
I like that, but
password.
I feel like I'm beyond that because of my background and what I do.
I get that. That, but most people, even in your background, don't think enough about it and don't research how to pick passwords, don't research hardware keys, don't research how to keep yourself secure. Don't look at other people who've gone through hacks, right? And learn from them. That's how I learned a lot.
Well, I
read everything. I read everything. When there's somebody who says I got hacked and I lost all my money in crypto, I read everything about that. How did that happen? Right?
Because you said it last night.
Protect my stuff.
People could steal your NFT. Like,
we're moving. Get out of the buzzwords. We're moving more of our value into computers, right? If you have 10 NFTs on the wall and they cost $1 million a piece, that's $10 million on your wall in digital stuff, right? And if somebody can come in and steal that from you, they will. So you have to, when you buy a new house, you have to look at the locks, right? And then say, hey, should I upgrade my locks, right? And same thing here. You need to upgrade your locks. You need to do some research. 1 hour a month.
No, I 100%.
You're going to have a different conversation with me. Even you will have a different conversation in a year if you do an hour a month of research, because you're going to start really getting nerdy about it, and then we can have a nerdy conversation about it. Right?
I think
most people are not even there. Most people have shitty passwords. Most people don't use multi-factor authentication. They don't even know what it means when you ask them. Right? They go, "What is that?"
But that's what I want to start spreading to my musician friends, that I think can learn something from this, is that they need a hardware key for their Gmail, because Gmail is where everything lives. And you said if someone gets your Gmail, you're fucked. But what are these people doing?
And the reason for that, if I get into your Gmail and kick you out and I take over your Gmail, most of the other services will, or your email account, most of the other services will send an email to that account saying, hey, here's a way to reset your password, right? So if I have access to your Gmail, I can do that to all your other services. Now I have your bank, I have your video game accounts, I have your Twitter account, your Instagram account, your Facebook account, because you didn't do what was needed to keep the hacker out of your email system. And that's job number one: protect your email.
Hardware,
because that's the
MDA
center
token.
of everything.
So,
And well, we can talk about, how do you go from no security, like a shitty password and no security, to pick a good password. Go do a Google search on that. There's plenty of information on how to pick a real password. There's plenty of reading.
I've been looking at,
I've done it.
like rainbow tables and how long your password has to be to get hacked, and like they can hack it in this much time if it's this long. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I use LastPass
longer-
as well. I use LastPass.
I
Do you
do
still
too.
like LastPass?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to pay for it now. It used to be free.
If you
Now
want to
it's,
split it up
it's
between the mobile and the desktop, you have to pay for it.
Yeah. But back to the security. So if you're somebody who uses password as your password, right? And I know people like
I know,
this,
they're like
right?
2021
I'm like,
company name.
how are you using this as how are you not thinking about this? You're living in a digital world now. You better start thinking about this stuff, because you're about to get ripped off, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. If you have $100,000 of crypto and you don't know about security and you haven't thought about security, you're going to get ripped off, man. That is easy to do if you don't have good password strategy and you don't have a way to bind up your system. So anyway, so the hardware key, I should go get my hardware key. There's a little thing you stick in a USB drive.
Yep.
It gives you a specific number off of that hardware that goes into the Gmail, and then Gmail goes, oh, you're here, thank you.
It's like an
In
iLock.
other words, you have to type in your password, and you have to put your key into the computer and click a button on it, so that the computer goes, oh, okay, you did your second factor. Now we know it's actually you.
What if you lose that thing?
There's ways to deal with it. You can click on I lost my key, and they'll teach you. But you should do some research on that.
Yeah.
How
Good question.
to make sure you have your real keys printed out and in a safe deposit box somewhere, right? So if you lose your key, you can still get those things and get back.
And it has to be
and then set it up.
off-site storage so it doesn't burn down with the house.
Well, that's number one. Right? Security never ends. That's why I say it's an hour a month. You got to spend the hour a month. If you don't spend an hour a month, you're not going to think about all this stuff. You're going to have weaknesses, and you're going to have blind spots, and you're just not going to have the vocabulary to have a conversation with us about security, right? And keeping yourself safe. And this stuff really does matter. Now, Apple is going with face recognition and a fingerprint, and soon they're going to look at your eyes. So these big companies eventually are going to get rid of passwords and just do the security for you, because they know we suck at it. But until that happens, it's on us, particularly if you're going to get into crypto and start storing value in a USB key, right? I mean, you better think this stuff through, because if somebody gets that, you're dead and you lost $100,000 or your life savings, right?
Yeah, it's super, super like crazy, especially how like people have money and don't know how to use stuff. It's so funny.
Yeah.
You must see that a
No,
lot.
it's
over
true.
there.
But we're going into a world where you must do security research an hour a day, even if you're a mom,
An hour a
even
month.
if you're a kid. An hour a month. Just do some Google searches and do it once a month. That's all I need. If you want to do more, go for it. But do an hour a month, and you're going to get, in a year, you're going to get pretty up to date, right?
That's great.
Because you're going to start picking better passwords. You're going to understand what we're talking about with these hardware keys. YubiKey is the company I use. Google has a hardware key called Titan. If you're a Mac user, that works great because it's a Bluetooth thing that you just click on when you try to sign into Gmail for a new time.
That's the one I was interested in.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The YubiKey is much more flexible. LastPass uses YubiKey,
Oh,
and
really?
many others. Oh yeah, Facebook uses YubiKey, and others use YubiKey. So,
Good to know.
whatever, you pick one. You know, one is better than none, as they say, right? If you have the Google one, at least you raise the fence around your house up a little bit, and it's harder to steal stuff from you now, right? It's not impossible, because security is. I mean, if China's coming after you, they're going to get you, right? They're going to get into you. But what you're trying to make it is hard for is the average everyday criminal stealing your stuff.
So they'll go to the next person instead of you.
Absolutely. It's the same thing as putting a good lock on your front door, right? Why did you do that? So that people can't pick your lock as easily as the next guy, you know?
Interesting.
Or get a digital lock, so now you can unlock the door when you're walking toward it, right? That's
so what I know you mentioned Tutu. Are there any artists you liking these days? Any new artists that you're talking about, or anyone that's really blowing the doors off your headphones?
Yeah, you're breaking up there. I'm not sure if you're still hearing me.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh yeah, there's a whole group. Yeah, sorry, you're just your bits are flaking out somewhere between my phone and you. So we're getting a
there. I'll turn the video off for a second.
Bit of a yeah, that'd be cool. Are we doing audio only, or are we doing video?
Video and audio. I got Zoom, and I'm recording it with another camera, and I'm going to edit it all for YouTube later. Cool. Yeah, I'm not. This is definitely not streaming.
Oh no problem. I just you turned off your camera, so I was like, oh, are we doing audio only? Because I'll turn off mine too.
There I am. But yeah, I'll turn my camera off because I have another camera here anyway that's filming me from the whole room.
Okay, that's cool.
I've got you on a video screen next to me. Like I'm trying to do like the Jimmy Fallon thing where he has a video screen and the person there, and I'm also recording the Zoom. And I just bought Pro Zoom like 2 days ago.
Very cool. So yeah, enough about security. What were we going to move on to now?
Music.
Music is about to see a rejuvenation, because even if you have old masters, you are going to be able to re-release those masters in spatial audio, and people are going to walk around your band or your performance in a new way, right? And that's coming next year. So you have to start thinking about, oh, where's my masters, and do I have multi-track masters to go back and re-release?
Oh, I know about that.
Yeah.
I had to get 2-inch tapes dumped down to digital from our very first artist just so we could get them, and I could like remix stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And the 2-inch tape is analog, right?
Yep. The drums sound great.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is we did some stuff
Neil
where
Young
we took
me into a studio and we listened to analog on his 2-inch tape, and it was amazing. And then we listened to the same recording on high-end digital equipment that he used to cut the master up into digital. And we listened at 600 kilohertz per second, which is very, very fine resolution digital, right? CDs are only 44.1 kilohertz. And so 44,000 times a second, it's taking an image of your music and slicing it up.
Well, there's a trade-off there, right? 96K, is really the most you want to go to right now, because otherwise you're spending too much disk space.
Yep. It's always a trade-off, right? Do you want more resolution? Do you want better quality? Do you want closer to analog?
I think 24-bit 96 is good for most stuff.
It's pretty good, but there was a difference from 600. Right?
Well, but my difference is
tiny difference.
I'm saying 24-bit instead of 16-bit. And I'm saying up it to 24-bit and up it to 96 for now if you're doing stuff. What you're saying is obviously higher, but generally I think
Spotify and Apple Music are coming out with high resolution music services this year. Tidal is already out there, right? So and you can hear a little difference between Tidal and Spotify, because Spotify is down at the lower res, at the 44, and then they're doing a lot of compression to save space and make it possible for your phone to get music anywhere, right? So, the music industry is fun, isn't it?
I did a record, and lockdown happened.
this new world is coming where we're going to have infinite surround sound, and we're going to have sound programmatically put on the real world. So Volvo told me about this. Volvo and Apple are working together. They're putting a 3D sensor on the dashboard of the new cars. And there's another sensor that looks at you. And there's a couple reasons you need to do that. First, if there's a few microphones around your windshield, right, an array of microphones, which is how noise canceling can be done. If they know where the sound is coming from in 3D space, they can focus the attention of those microphones using a computer. That's what array microphones do.
And
that's why this headphone has 9 separate microphones on it.
And because it's a fabricated product that they've made themselves, they know where all the noise comes from. They know if it's noise from the road, and they've already tested all this.
Well, even better, if my mouth is right here and there's microphones here and a 3D sensor aimed at my mouth, it knows where my mouth is, and it can get rid of all other noise. It can just focus right on my mouth because it knows I'm talking to the windshield because I'm on a Zoom call or something like that.
How does that work for an acoustic guitar performance with a bunch of acoustic artists? That'd be pretty cool, having like each instrument dialed in by this microphone setup or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would work on with instruments. You can put microphones on the instruments, so which is what you really want to do now. Now you want to make sure each of your instruments is on a separate track on your master, because
absolutely
need to spit that. You're going to need to spit those separate tracks out on spatial audio soon, and so next year you're going to have some new work to do to rethink your audio masters, right?
What I'm doing right now is figuring out how to stream, right? Like if I'm at a concert and I'm performing and I'm also streaming, I have to make sure that I'm using Ableton. I've got guitar in, I've got my drummer is electronic drums. They have to be fed into my setup. And then the mix has to go out. So I'm going to the front of house with my stereo backtracks and then my guitar and my vocal. And then we're going to have to use another sound card to put the drummer's drums on it, because I'm only using one Universal Audio sound card right now. And it works, but we figured it out. So it can scale it up to Staples Center.
If you're going to distribute that on Spotify or on Apple Music, they're going to have spatial audio services by the end of next year. So
that's a big thing, musicians. Spatial audio, learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Damn.
And learn what that means. If you get these new Apple headphones or even the Apple AirPod Pros, the little ones, they have spatial audio now, and you can get an app called Spatial Bliss, which puts you into a soundscape, and then you can move sound all the way around you. It's really cool on an iPhone. So
I wonder what these guys
play
can
with
do.
that for an hour, and you're going to start realizing, oh, okay, we now are not just putting audio on 2-channel anymore, right? Like when I sold stereos in the 80s, I had 2 speakers. Everybody bought 2 speakers, right? And had an amplifier for two channel. That world is over. We're going into a million-channel world now.
But just adding the left
trillion-channel
from mono to the left and the right allowed you the ability to know where stuff was.
Yes, but
it's another. Now this is the next.
Now is next level. You can put sound on my steering wheel. You can put sound on my mirror. You can put sound on a button. Volvo said the buttons are going to talk to you when you touch them.
Right, because nobody knows what the buttons do.
Yeah, well, and also you can do all sorts of music or sounds. Or in this Tesla, we have fart noises, right? So you can do all sorts of fun things if you know where that button is and know how to apply sound to that programmatically. But that requires you to think of sound as a discrete thing that you would put on a specific thing, right? And that's a new skill for a musician, because you don't think like that. You don't think about, oh, could we do a concert in somebody's kitchen and put the guitar on one Coke bottle and put the trumpet on another Coke bottle? You don't think like that. So,
but you could.
You will have to by the end of next. No, you will have to by the end of next year.
Very. So this is why I talk to you.
Do you want to get ahead of the game or not?
This is why I talk to you.
That's all.
Good stuff, Robert.
Yeah. You can react to what the market is telling you to do and be later, or you can be first.
Well, I
Your
think the
choice.
people who are first are like the bigger artists in the world, like Marshmello, who have the budget to try it and be allowed to have Fortnite say, okay, why you want to try this? Because they know each other, you know, it's like kind of nice.
Absolutely.
But
It's easier to do things when you have money, particularly if you're going into volumetric, because you get if you're gonna want to record your band and put it into my living room, that requires a volumetric studio. That costs money, you know, thousands of dollars a minute.
well,
So, and maybe a little less going down now, but it's still fairly expensive, and it's still a time-consuming process, and you have to have a tech team that can do that.
I've offered to be a guinea pig for anyone who wants to try it. You know, people that have a tech team, but they don't have an artist. And if you know of anyone or hear of anyone, I got an album done. I've got everything ready to go. Did I send it to you, by the way? I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you did. It's awesome.
Oh, good. I'm glad you heard it. We got airplay on a bunch of places, even in LA and even here, and we're just kind of working on a distribution deal. And I have a manager and a lot of people. I finally have a drummer, so I'm excited. But Robert, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. I think it's really interesting to hear all the great stories you have.
The reason spatial audio is happening, by the way,
Yeah.
is video games are built on Unity. 60% of video games are built on this platform called Unity, which is a public company, right? And the others are built mostly on the Unreal
Engine.
Both of these engines automatically put sound on volumetric pixels around you, right? They automatically give you spatial audio that you can walk around a band and hear the band from different angles.
So
We're going to get this because, right? Because Unity is coming to Apple's headsets, because Apple is coming in the next year with a new headset that's going to be mind-blowing, because Facebook is doing the same thing, because Snap is doing the same thing, because. So that's why I think why we're talking, right? It's time to start doing some research and, you know, and thinking about what would you do with augmented reality in somebody's home.
My friend Laura Escade, she has an amazing company called Electronic Creatives. They do like stuff for the weekend and people like that, really cool stuff. They were doing something at the Wisdom with Unreal Engine, I believe, behind them. So they're using, artists I know are using Unreal for live, and it's pretty cool. Were you thinking maybe Unity would be not, would Unity be used instead of Unreal, or do they work together? I don't understand it.
I'm expecting now. Unity is better for shitty little GPU. So okay, let's get nerdy a little bit.
Okay.
Inside the visor that's coming, which is like these headphones, right? These headphones are over your ears. They cover your ears. They don't let the real world come to your ears anymore. They have microphones that capture the real world, digitize it, and put it in your ear. That's great. But when we get the visor, everything that you see is either a point or a polygon, a triangle, or a hexagon, or a voxel, a volumetric pixel, which is like a little digital sugar cube. And each sugar cube can play music, right? So think about that. There's millions of them around me in this Tesla. If I have these glasses on, it's seeing the world at some small resolution and putting stuff on there. All of that work needs GPU, needs a graphic processor, because all of the little virtual sugar cubes are being created by the computer, right? And the computer that's inside a headphone is small. It's not like a big ass NVIDIA card that's this big in the middle of your PC.
Right.
So if you want to do something that has some graphical, that looks like the real world, right? That's probably Unreal Engine with a big ass NVIDIA card. If you're going to go down from that a little bit with a Oculus Quest, a Facebook device, or this new Apple device that's coming, you won't have quite as many polygons as a high-end NVIDIA card has, right? A $1,000 NVIDIA card. But it'll be, you can wear it while walking around, right? Without a cord corded into your NVIDIA card, right?
Right.
My first VR machine, I had a cord that went into my NVIDIA card, right? Now I don't have that. I just have an Oculus Quest that is
finally untethered.
Yeah, and most of the the platform that works the best with these smaller GPUs is Unity, and so I'm expecting Unity to be doing a lot of stuff with Apple next year. In
right.
fact, Unity showed me that you're going to have bands in your kitchen, and it's going to be pretty mind blowing. Think about being at a Lady Gaga concert in your kitchen and having the full stage in your kitchen. It gets rid of half your kitchen, and the other half is Lady Gaga, performing for you.
So musicians, make sure you have your stems ready and properly split up with all your instruments separated, and don't let the producer keep those tracks on you.
But this is why I want you to get a VR headset, because it causes you to start dreaming. What would I do if I could put sound all around me like this? What would I do with video games? What would I do with movies?
Well, you could have a studio that has gear in it that you don't own.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Gear, virtual gear.
The virtualization of the world is coming, right? That's why we spent some time talking about security. If all your machines you bought virtually, were rented from Amazon or some service, you got to secure that shit. Otherwise somebody will come in and fuck it up, right?
Exactly. I love that on my phone. I use iRig, and I can pick from amps that I want. I don't even have to buy them anymore. I can just, you can do things now like that. Again, and thanks for coming on my podcast. This is the first one, inaugural The Musicians Insider. That I believe that any musician who watches this will get tons of information about security just from you. So thank you, and I can't wait to play a show somewhere where you guys can come check it out. All right,
thank you.
Thanks for showing me your Tesla.
Thanks.
And
yeah, no problem. And I'm on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, all the usual places.
If people want to look you up on anywhere, like
SCOBLE, just search it, you'll find me.
Scobleizer.
Yeah, Robert Scoble.
All right,
Scobleizer on Twitter is the best place.
Join a Twitter chat with us. We'll come talk to you soon, and you do that pretty much all the time. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Drive safe
awesome.
into your home.
Keep
Great
it
to
up,
see you,
man.
buddy.
Keep entertaining the world. We need more music in the world. I've been a little out there. I love music. I love going to music. I love going to live music, right? I've had musicians playing concerts in my kitchen for real. It's badass, right? Well, dinner with Slash, right? So I've been around. It's just, I think about distribution, and I want you guys to make some money, right?
I hear you.
And you start looking at Coachella can get 20,000 people in the Sahara tent. Yeah, there you go.
That's
you collect them too, huh?
There's Slash's
That's
pick.
Great.
And there's Dimebag Darrell's pick.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I can't wait to get back out there, but we're actually, I can't even get a haircut. I'm like Giorgio Tsoukas. We are locked down in Ontario.
That's why I got these hat on and the over-ears headphones. You can't see my messy hair. Thanks, man.
I can always put these on.
That if you were wearing those around, I'd be like, oh, you got the Apple glasses already, man. How did you get those?
Exactly. All right, my friend. I'll catch up with you sometime, and thanks for joining the podcast. You have a wonderful rest of your day. All right. See you later. All right, so welcome to another season of the Musicians Insider. I'm really excited to launch this season, and our first guest is none other than Anonymous, who's an amazing artist from California, Los Angeles. I met him through some friends, and we used to skate together, and I'm really lucky that he rapped on one of my tracks. So I want to hear more about what is going on with Anonymous and what has been happening with your music career. I know the pandemic has slowed things down, but tell me about what you've been up to and what things are happening lately with your career.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Recently, I've just been working on videos. So I had when the pandemic started, I lost my job and I was on unemployment, but it was like a good thing in a way because I was getting a good amount of money. So I was able to do videos with my homie Nuncio. So we would do videos like at least once a month. And I was just inspired because I lost my job. I was like, all right, well, I got a means of income. and I can use this money to, you know, turn that negative into turn into something positive. So I mean, I made Better Days, I made Let's Shine, and I made every song after that kind of reflecting on my life. Then at some point I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of running low on money. I need to learn how to do this myself. So I bought a camera and started doing photography, learning how to do that, learning how to do videos. And now I'm at the point where I have my girlfriend shoot my videos and I just edit them. And so far, I mean, from the first time we did it, you know, some of the shots were shaky, and, you know, we're just learning. We didn't have a gimbal or a stabilizer. Then I bought a stabilizer and we're learning from there. But each time we do a video, the quality is getting better, the editing is getting better. And yeah, man, right now, what I've been working on a project. I'm waiting to get like the cover done. And I've been writing songs, so I've been keeping busy. Right now I'm just looking for a job.
Well, I've been watching a little bit of it, and as you mentioned, the production value every time gets better and better. I'm proud of you, man. It sounds awesome. And I was just wondering if you're doing any shows yet, but I guess it's kind of hard to book shows with this fucked up pandemic. What's the scene like in LA right now?
I know there's shows here and there, but I don't know how, as far as people are asking for your proof of vaccine or a proof that you don't have coronavirus. As far as that, I'm not too sure. I know some shows do ask and some shows don't. I guess depending on how big the venue is. I know the bigger venues are probably ask for it, but if it's like a small event that's happening, I don't think they'd ask for it if it's outdoors. I mean, I think people still wear their mask, but I'm not too sure, and I haven't really been going to shows.
Right. Well, I think it's slowly coming back. I mean, hopefully next year we'll be able to do something. I'd love to play a show somewhere in the States, and I might do a tour next year. I'll let you know if we're anywhere near you. But I'm playing my first show. It's like a warm-up show in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks here in my hometown area. And I've been at the gym for a week with a trainer. I'm fucking dying. I have to drink 3 liters of water a day. It's the first time I've been in for a long time, so I have a new personal journey I'm working on that's just related to getting in shape for my next year. I'm trying to get rid of these bags under my eyes. I think it's because I've been eating the wrong food. So I never knew that when you work out, you're supposed to eat like a crazy regime of food. I didn't really know how to do that, and I'm kind of all over that right now. It's pretty fun. You been to any festivals at all? Anything at all out there?
I know they have like the EDCs and stuff like that. I know they're having like the Art of Rap. That's in I think in the next month. I think in October. I think that's sold out though. I know they're having shows right here. Like there's one with Ice Cube headlining, and he has a bunch of artists right there opening up for him. But I think it's all the same thing, as they're all asking for proof of vaccine, or to show that you don't have the coronavirus.
I had a talk with Parker, who we recorded with at Excellent Sound. Shout out to Parker and Excellent. Hopefully can connect a little more with him. I know he's doing a lot of really cool stuff. So I don't know. I'd love to get you on another track sometime whenever we can. I really like what you did on So Gone. I mean, that was great. Perfect. Just what I needed. And so my purpose of my podcast, it's called The Musician's Insider. And what we do is it's kind of like, it's advice for musicians. So instead of asking you to tell me, all about, what you're doing, I do want to have that on here. I also want to know, like, what advice would you give a new artist that might be in your area or so that doesn't really have the resources to do things? I know you're a really killer DIY guy. Like, you'll sit there in a room with all the computers you can and make it sound amazing with whatever you got. And I'm impressed by that. So I'd love to hear some advice you have for some people that maybe don't have the resources you have, but maybe are in a similar situation, and you're pulling it off. So
I would just say just start with whatever you have and whatever you can get your hands on. If you just have a decent microphone or whatever, and you have a little room or a little space to record, I would just record and just learn how to get your flow on point. Well, depending on whatever, if you're gonna go do rapping or make beats, you just keep doing it. And if at some point you feel like you get better, show some people and to see the reaction. But I wouldn't fall too much on it doesn't hurt to show people to see what they think about your music, but don't take it too hard, especially when you're just beginning. You can't be too hard on yourself. You gotta learn how to have fun with it. And that's something I learned. Like, I would do something and I knew I wasn't that good. Because when I started with my cousin. My cousin was always better than me. And I would always fall off I wouldn't have it in my my verses in sync. I'll be falling off into the next line, but he was always in sync. And I would get irritated. I'm like, fuck, man, I want to get better. But the thing is, it was something in me that just wanted me to get better. I just wanted to get better. So each time I would write a song, I would slowly, you know, trim whatever fat I have in my verses to make it flow well, the transition to be smooth and clean. So I think you just have to have fun with it. And if you don't have resources, I would suggest hitting people up, go to studios. If you have the money, if you don't have the money, save up to buy your own equipment and then, you know, learn from there. And I would say go to shows, do open mics, meet different people on Instagram, follow different artists as well, show love. You know, like you can't just expect to get anything and you're not giving it, you know? So I would just say, you know, keep a lookout for other artists as well. Or I think if you're just around the right people and you actually want to do this, I see it like skateboarding. Like people always ask me, oh, how do you get so good at skateboarding? You know, how do you do that? I just tell them like, well, you gotta know how to fall. Like you gotta know how that at skateboarding, you're gonna fall and eat shit and it's gonna hurt, but you're gonna have to get back up and try that trick again until you get it. So I see that the same thing with music. You're gonna fucking fail so much until you finally land that one trick or get that one song that's really good, you know? So
I love this. This is great.
Yeah, so that's the way I see it. And that's like, I mean, I always use that reference for music or anything in general. You'll be at a skate park filled with a bunch of other skaters, and some may be better than you, but you're trying this one trick and you keep trying and you're falling, you're eating shit, you're failing, you're constantly failing, and other people are seeing this and they can be like, oh, he's not gonna get it, or whatever. They might think that whatever they want, but then you land that trick and they see like, oh shit, he was dedicated and he ate shit so many times up to the point where he finally got it. Like he didn't give up. And I think that resonates with a lot of people. Like people love to see something like that. People want to see someone that constantly falls and falls, but when they get it, they like to see like, damn, he has dedication and he's very passionate on what he does.
You only fail. You only fail if you go home before you finish.
Yeah. And there's times where you're gonna eat shit bad, dude. I'll be at the skate park and I'll fall all the way down from the half pipe and, you know, land on my back, and I'm like, all right, I'm done for today. Yeah, you'll have those days. You'll have those days, you know, like it's gonna happen, but you just gotta learn how to push through it and know that, hey, maybe today's not the day. You come back to it tomorrow. I think it's just that you can't be too hard on yourself, especially in the beginning stages too. Like you can't. It's a lot harder when you have more years and trying to be like, all right, how can I be creative this time? What can I do differently to do that? And that's like the fun part too, to learn how to be like, all right, how can I step outside the box this time?
I definitely relate to that part. I got a lot of years, but I will say it's cool that, you know, your positivity is coming through here. I really like it. And the main thing is don't give up, right? Stamina. That's my company's called Stamina. I've been working on this forever. I still haven't put out my first album. I'm like 2 albums in and I still haven't put it on an album.
But you've been releasing singles though, huh?
No, it's completely for this record, Against the World. It's completely coming out soon, but it's not out at all. And we shot a new video. I'll have to show it to you soon. But yeah, I guess talking about, you know, the advice thing, I think it's really important that people learn from their mistakes, get back up. And like the skateboarding thing is a really good analogy. Only with the music, you really don't get physically injured.
Yeah. So you get more hurt. It's like, oh man, they don't like my music or whatever.
But that's the thing is,
yeah,
it's like you can get past that so much easier if you just let it bounce off you.
Yeah.
Skateboarding, I don't know how to fall very well. I keep breaking shit, so I'm having a hard time.
I've never broken anything, man. Knock on wood.
You're good at falling. You don't wear pads. I figured out what's wrong. I learned how to skate on ramps at skate parks, and so when you fall, you go to your knee pads or you go to your elbow pads. Yeah. And then when I'm street skating, I'm on a rail fucking bailing, and I'm trying to go to my elbow pads, and I put my arm down and break it because don't know how to fall. You know, and it's not that kids don't want to wear pads; it's that they don't want to go to their knees. They want to roll out of it and run out of it, and the pads get in the way.
Yeah, because you're only allowed to bend so far with the pads on.
But maybe wear a helmet is what I would tell everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of the helmet at all, but one time it did help me out. I was at a skate park and I was doing I think I was doing an overcrook on a ledge, and I slipped back and hit the corner of the ledge, but luckily I had the helmet. So that's the only time a helmet actually helped me out. But I mean, it's not because I wanted to wear it, it's because at the skate park you had to wear it. because they don't want you to sue or whatever.
Do you remember? I think you were with me. I went to a skate park with Adam one time, way out near you guys, and there was like this thing where it went down and it went flat and it went up, and it was like those concrete kind of things. And I had my helmet on, and I tried something where I was trying to ollie like really high up to the ledge, and I completely missed, and I landed on my head, and I was the only guy there with a helmet.
Was it Burbank?
No, it was like out near you guys, like out that way. It doesn't matter, but it was. I just remember.
Where they were living around my grandma's house, around that area?
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. Yeah, and it was like a concrete one where it was like a lot of banks going down and flat and up, and it was a park I'd never been to very often. But there's a lot of people.
Okay, and it has like the brick side slope, right?
There's like those weird corner ones, like triangle corners everywhere too. Like you know what I mean?
It might have been 4th Street, right next to my grandma's house.
It sounds like it. One of those ones. And I remember just like landing on my head, and I was the only one with a helmet on. I don't know. I love snowboarding. I love skateboarding. I just need to keep that shit in its place where I can enjoy it. And I guess maybe I'll wear hockey gloves. I don't know how to fall properly. It's bothering me. I mean, I've been skating for so long.
Stick to half pipes, bro.
No,
I don't know why it's way easier to fall and catch yourself on a half pipe than in street.
Because you can slide all the way down.
Yeah, you can catch yourself, and even if you fall, you can kind of find your way to slide down. Like even if, but there's sometimes you'll have those moments where you'll fall all the way back, and then you won't be able to slide.
So I broke my arm on a spine that was going from 7 feet high to 3 feet.
Yeah.
And I was doing something. I was gonna try to do a fakie pivot over it, and then I'll just cross it first and practice. And when I was crossing, my foot fell off, and I did a tail block, and I dropped in. It was only 3 feet. But my foot fell off and I just fell weird. My hand went straight down. It's only 3 feet high. There's nowhere to fall. It broke. And I had a fucking wrist guard on.
And you can keep breaking your arms and legs, huh?
I'm just gonna play music. I'm not gonna ride the hoverboard on stage either. I have 2 of them right there, but
yeah.
All my boards are right there too. Let me see here. Can I turn that? Yeah, where is it?
Okay, so there's the same place from that company you used to work at? Or is it you still work for that company?
No. I'm at home. There's my hoverboards. I rented a place. I now live in Canada. And I have Stamina Music. I'm working on a tour, hopefully, with a couple different things, maybe in the States in 2022. But yeah, just trying to get this podcast rolling, trying to put some pretty interesting people on. I had Ryan, my roommate, on talking about moving to LA. I thought that was a good thing where you could tell people what is it like to move to California from the East Coast and try to be in the entertainment business. Yeah. So any thoughts on anything like that's always wonderful. But tell me a little more about when your next album or next video is coming out, or what do you have next coming out?
Well, I have a project that I'm working. It's done already. Basically, I just been waiting to get a cover, but I'm calling it So What. So it's basically on every album that I've done, like, for example, like my first project, I called it Just Breathe because I had a song called Just Breathe, which is the song that sparked the whole project for me. And then after that, I had Touch the Sky because I wrote a song called Touch the Sky, and that sparked the next project. So for this one, I know it's been like almost 3 years since I dropped like an official project. I mean, I released singles here and there, but 3 years, and I wanted to drop something that kind of fit like the mood for those first 2. To be like the trilogy to that. But I'm making it an EP, so it's like at least 7 songs on there. And it's all, all the beats are by me. I mean, all the lyrics by me. I have a few friends that are featured on there. I've had a guy play a saxophone on one of the songs. I have a DJ scratch on a few songs too. So it's pretty tight, man. But as far as that, I should be releasing it within this next, I would say a month and a half. I got a video coming out, and that's the So What. I'm calling it the So What music video. And I'm basically done editing it, and it's there. I'm just waiting to get that cover so that way I can add like, dropping this album, the project's dropping on this day. And once I get that, I can start figuring out how to market it. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been learning how to do Photoshop and do all the stuff to learn how to have more content for Instagram to promote it.
What are you using for distribution?
What is it called?
Is it DistroKid?
DistroKid? Yeah.
Are you using that? So I used DistroKid when it first came out, and it totally messed up on me. But it was when they first started, and I think things have changed since then. Like took they wouldn't respond, tracks wouldn't go up where they were supposed to go, and it was really, really awful. Actually, I had the hell of a time with it. That was like 2012 though. So I'm not here to knock DistroKid, but I'm just thinking how is that experience?
I mean, so far it's been good. Like I would post like sometimes I know they say give it like a month before you post something, so that way if you're like planning on releasing it, you'll put a date at least do it a month before. But I've done it like a few days before, and it still pops up like within that same day. So I think it just depends. I know on some on like it'll pop up on Spotify and stuff like that, but on some other like platforms, it might take a little longer.
And are you able to like make a release date and meet that date with that platform? Because I found that a lot of these platforms, if you try to do a release date, like you need at least, like you said, a month, but then it doesn't really happen when it's supposed to. And then they generate the links and you don't have them yet, and you can't do it all until you've released it, because then you get the link, you know, like the backwards kind of things that happen with that.
No, I mean, so far from what I've been doing, it's been working on me.
Awesome.
And it depends. I mean, I'll do it a week before, but at least give it a week. But there's been times I've done like 2 or 3 days to be like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm gonna like, it'll be like the song I did was called "Light My Owl." It's basically me being at the house, it's getting high and shit like that. So I was like, all right, I was like, I'm gonna release this when I release this, and I was like, oh shit, today's 420. Fucking might as well. I forgot. I was like, all right, release today, and I fucking released it, and it showed up
That's awesome.
within the same day. I was like, oh shit, like all right. I was like, all right. Well, I mean, like, I guess I don't know how. Honestly, it says some people say month, but I mean, it comes up for me.
So from what I've learned, generally you want to do like when you do release something, you kind of want to do a pre-release for like a month, where you say the first week you release like maybe the single, and then the next week you release a video, and then the next week you have like podcast interviews, and then the next week the album drops or something, like when you're going to put out the EP or the album. Try to have like some sort of like a very simple plan like that will actually really help you with your pre-release sales and things like that. And that's what I recommend to people to do. I'm still trying to figure mine out, and when it happens, it'll be interesting.
That's what I'm trying. I'm not that I'm trying. I've been having time to do it. It's just more like I have a whole like plan on my wall of what I want to do. It's like, all right. I mean,
Well,
I'm still a fan of physical copies and stuff like that, and I know people still do like will support that. So I want to make at least a limited amount, and at the same time too, I want to make T-shirts of the project and stuff like that. So that way,
Cool.
I don't just like, oh, here's just a project. No, I got the physicals,
Merch.
I got the merch, and then videos to go with it as well. So
I love
want it
what
to
you're
be like
doing, man.
A whole rollout.
I don't have like my album hasn't come out yet. I don't have a record company that's got tons of artists or anything on it. It's just me. I got a great manager and some really cool people. My first show's coming up, but the reason I'm saying this is like if my deal allows me to distribute artists and things like that, I definitely want to, you know, hear what you're doing more, because me might be able to help you out. I would love to, because I like what you're like one of the best do-it-yourself artists I've seen, but you don't have the exposure you deserve, and I don't know what you have to spend money to get that, and that's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money on the production and the technical stuff. Like for my show for the last year, like I haven't really been able to sit around recording guitar parts because I've been busy creating how to play it live, with all the backtracks and Ableton. And I have a drummer. I have a fucking drummer now, and he's awesome. His name's Jack, and he can sing. So, but I'm doing my first gig without him because he's out of town, and I'm just gonna do a warm up gig with some friends of mine in their band before they do some shows, and I'm going to just play to the drums and stuff. But I gotta get that dialed in, and hopefully get some shows happening soon. I'd love to play a show sometime anywhere near you guys. Well, so thank you for coming on. What I'll do is I'll let you know when we're going to post this season 2. I'm pretty excited about it. If you have any releases coming up, please let me know, and I'll put them on the podcast page. I can update it, and I'd love to have you back if you have more going on. And I'd love to see you if we have a show. Maybe you can come sing your verse somewhere.
I'm down, bro. Just let me know whenever you're in town or near my area. I'm down to show up to do that.
Can you fly to Canada for like the next 3 weeks for one half for a 30-minute show? Come up and sing one song.
I wish I had the money like that right now, bro. If I had the money like that, I wouldn't mind doing something like that.
Well,
I've never been to Canada, bro.
do you have a passport?
No, I don't have a passport.
Get a 10-year passport so that when you have the opportunity, you're not like, oh shit, I don't have a passport. So there's some advice. If you want to go international with your music career, get a fucking passport.
Do you have to get the vaccine in order to get the passport, or now, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, are you getting the vaccine?
No, I haven't gotten it.
So
I don't know if I want to get it, but I mean,
well,
at some point, I know eventually I'm gonna have to get it.
well, you know, I don't want to go on here and tell people what to do, but I would say talk to your doctor. Unless there's some reason you can't, you probably should, and then you can work. So As a musician, you can't do shows at venues that require double vaxes, and the testing is annoying. I mean, unless you have some reason not to get it, just fucking get the vaccine, people. Anyway, so enough about that. But I'm glad that you seem like you're doing real well out there. So hopefully we get to visit again sometime soon. And the places where people can find your music is the best place, your Instagram. And if so, you want to just tell me that, and I'll put it up in front here.
Yeah, it's at Anonymous the MC94.
Yeah. Do you have a website?
Yeah, no, I don't have a website right now. I had a website, but I had to get that going again. But you can find me on YouTube. Just type in Anonymous MC, and if you can't find that, just type in Anonymous Better Days, and you can subscribe to my channel from right there.
Excellent.
So yeah, usually I have all my singles right there. You can find me on Spotify. Just look up Anonymous Touch the Sky, and that should pop up right there. And yeah, pretty much any platform, SoundCloud. Even though I don't even use SoundCloud no more, but it shows up on there.
And when you do write your lyrics, like, are you one of those people who can just rap on the fly? Like, are you good at that? I mean, I think from what I've heard,
freestyling?
Yeah, like, is that something you do, or do you like to record it and then trim the fat and go back and then like Dr. Dre that shit, or how do you?
Nah, like let's say if I write it, it usually just like I'll kind of like freestyle a little bit, not too much. Like I'll just start and I'll figure out like a line, and from that one line I'll just build off of it. Like I'll be thinking of this fucking, like the other day I was thinking about a line I said, like the higher the hill, the bigger the bill. The higher they say the higher the hill, the bigger the bill. I say the higher I am, the better I feel, or something like that. And that was because I was just driving. I was like, that's a funny little line right there. I'm gonna put that away and use that for something.
I like
so
that.
Like,
that's cool.
And I was like, all right, that can be something that, like, if I find the right beat to it, because it wasn't like I listened to a beat and I wrote it. It was just like, that'd be cool to say. And I just wrote it down. And I was like, all right. Usually when I do that, there'll be like little stuff that I put away. Then eventually I'll find a beat and I'll put it and I'll listen to it. I'm like, that goes right there. And then I'll finish off the song like that.
So when that drops someday on some song, we'll link back from this podcast to that song. Love it.
I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it.
I think you should, man. And hopefully we can all get in a room together and make music again. That'd be fun.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna release the Be All Right too.
I like it.
I know, man. My friend's been asking me to release it, and I'm like, all right, dude. Like, I need to release that. I'm gonna get it mastered too. So I have the stems to it. I know I have all the stems. I just need to go get it mastered. I have a homie that masters, so I'm gonna have him master it, and then release it. So man, I'm pretty excited for that. So I'm gonna have the So What project. Then after that, I have 3 songs I recorded with right there at the XLMT Studios.
Excellent, yeah.
Excellent. And I have 3 songs with that, so I'll just call it like the Lost and Found EP, since I recorded those songs like a few years ago and put them out.
It's still new until it comes out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have Boof Boof, and I'm working on more songs. So I'm like thinking like, all right,
I got brand new music. Sorry to cut you off. I got brand new music that was written before you were born. It's brand new until it comes out, my friend. It's all brand new. So I know you're saying you've got lost things, but like you're still a brand new artist, you know? So like when you put something out, it's brand new. You don't have to tell people it's old because they don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't know unless they ask. I mean, like if for some reason it sounds older, but I think like if it's timeless, that's dope. Your shit sounds great. You spit really good lines. I love what you're doing. I'd love to hear more, and I wish you really well, man. So
man.
We'll have to reconnect again soon. Anything you want to say before we rock out today?
Just thank you for having me, bro, and for giving me a platform to share my music on and to show what I'm about. So thank you for that, bro.
Oh, hey, anytime. And just so you know, like I know it seems like we haven't done much since we last saw you, but literally the record's still not out yet. So it's like all this time and it's like literally just about to happen. So thanks for your patience on all of that, and hopefully we'll make some money, right? All right, buddy.
Do a video for that song, dude.
Okay, so the first video is I'm Not Sorry. The second video is going to likely be Change. I don't know what the third video is, but it's going to either be Vibin' Me or So Gone. That's what I'm thinking. And if we do the video, I'm calling you. I might make you do this scene out there, but I'd rather be out there with you and do a whole shoot. We have a really good video production company. I think you're going to like I'm Not Sorry. I'll send it to you as soon as I can. It's not online yet.
For sure, I'm looking forward to that, dude.
All right, thanks, Bud. And so this has been another episode of the Musicians Insider. I'm Cronus once again, and thanks for your time today. Thanks.
All right, thanks.